I'm here today speaking with both Marni Amirault and Fred Anderson, and we are speaking about their presentation on emerging ethical issues in Aboriginal HIV community-based research. Thank you two for coming. Really appreciate it. So I guess my first question is, what does ethics mean to Aboriginal communities?
Well, essentially ethics means taking into consideration the whole community and ensuring that any research done in the Aboriginal community is done benefits and is relevant to the community.
One thing you said, which I appreciated, was doing good for the community.
This is the essence of research in the Aboriginal community, doing good for the whole community, not just the individual.
Thank you. And Marni, what do people need to know before they start a study with the Aboriginal community?
I think one of the most important things to take into consideration is the incredible amount of diversity in the Aboriginal community. At CAM, when we use the term Aboriginal, we're not just speaking about First Nations people, we're speaking about Inuit and Métis as well. And so between those populations, there's an incredible amount of diversity, but there's also an incredible amount of diversity within those populations, within a Métis community, for example. And there's also factors like age and gender that come into play as well. And the other piece is contextualizing the history of Aboriginal people, of colonization, of the residential schools, and so on. So a lot of research that's been done in the past has really spoken to the negatives in those communities without addressing how and why those negatives are happening. And yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to Marni's point?
Yeah, it's important to recognize that for research to recognize that doing research in the Aboriginal community, that they need to be aware of the fact that in the past research has perpetuated colonizing influences, and that we need to take a stance for Aboriginal, for research that for indigenizing research that incorporates Aboriginal methodologies.
Can you give me some examples of Aboriginal methodologies?
Certainly, it's important to incorporate ceremony into any kind of research. There's a reliance on prayer, opening and closing with prayer, gift giving, permitting smudging, and to involve elders to help guide the research, and gift giving, just to pay attention to what works in the Aboriginal community.
Okay. So I guess to close, Marni, is there anything else you wanted to add about ethical issues in regards to research with the Aboriginal communities?
I think one of our colleagues said it best. It's not rocket science, it's harder.
Thank you too. And thank you for coming here to be interviewed today. Thank you.